Big up, good afternoon, good day, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I got my buddy in the background. We're going to have a short discussion. Style of play. Man, we played a lot of possession football last night. Guys, it was tough to watch the loss in the sense that, we were the better team and we still conceded that goal and it's just from another mistake of our own creation. But you know what, guys? We played really well in that game, barring the fact that there were lots of, fringe players, young players coming into the squad. I pretty much enjoyed the look of Ethan Wheatley as he came off the bench. Willie Kwambala was like a brick wall. You couldn't get past him when he came on. I like to see that, guys. You see that it's a bright future ahead for us. And you know what? Although the season has not been that bad, looking towards the future, it might be a little bit more positive. As we discuss also some of the stars, Roy Keane, Gary Neville, even, these guys are Wayne Rooney. They're back in Ten Hag. Some of them are saying, the players are faking injuries and they're not giving that extra that they should be giving as a Manchester United player. The type of effort that they gave when they were players once at the club. They spoke about being injured, and sometimes, you're not that injured. It might just be a light sprain. You're still going to come out and give it for the fans 100% because this is the business end of the season and you always need to finish strong. And after hearing these comments from them, now I know why Fergie time existed. Now I know why coming to the end of the season, the last 10 games, United was so good. The mentality that these guys shared as a common bond, they must get it done. But big up to all of you joining. I got my buddy Vegeta in the background. He's going to come in and give his opinions. Guys, smash the likes and subscribe. If you haven't, hit that notification bell so you can see when we're live. And those of you on X, kindly give us a retweet. It helps the channel grow. I'm stuck on 180 subs. I'm trying to get to 500 by the end of next month. Please, guys, help me out. Mark Davies, big up to you, lad. I hope you're well today. How are you doing, bro? Is everything good? I pretty much like the game. I'm not mad at the loss. Everyone barring my mother, said to me that, Arsenal were going to smash us, and some fellow United fans, but mostly everyone was like, we're going to get smashed, hammered, destroyed, 8-2. And you know what? We were the better team. Some people might say Arsenal didn't come out of first gear, but they were not able to, in my opinion. I think the way the team was set up and the effort levels of the players on the pitch, the majority of them, in my opinion, were up to the basic requirement that was needed to execute the manager's tactics on the day. And Arsenal had no answer for that. They were lucky to get a mistake from our defender and the goalkeeper and got a goal, because after that they really had no chance, not much chances, in the sense that they had all their chances before that goal came, and they probably had three more chances that were on target for the entire game afterwards. That's crazy for me. This Arsenal team, which was their strongest starting 11, bruh, guys, you have to applaud the lads. I know some of the lads may have gotten you guys upset. Maybe Casemiro kept them on side and he didn't, give that extra effort to close the guy down. Maybe you can say Wan-Bissaka, or maybe you can say Johnny Evans, or like me, maybe you're saying maybe Onana should have gotten down to that ball. But at the end of the day, it was a good performance from the team in general, and you have to give them the clap and hands off to them, because if we can play like that for the rest of the season while incorporating back Bruno, into the starting lineup as the 10, maybe we might just finish the season with a win in the FA Cup. It might be a warm up the next two games where we might not lose, because I'm pretty sure all the teams that saw us last night are in shock. They want to know what the hell happened with Manchester United, because Arsenal couldn't drop them up. What's Man City's excuse? A better Man City lost. to Arsenal the same way. Even worse, I would say they couldn't even create much chances for Man City. It was like pretty much watching back and forth, back and forth. They barely had a shot on target, Man City. And Arsenal had more possession than Man City. Well, guys, we dominated possession yesterday. We had more shots than Arsenal yesterday. They only had one more shot on target than we did. But you know what, guys? We lost 1-0. I'm going to bring my buddy in the background. Big up to you, DJ Superfly. Big up to you, Mental Ball Game. I hope you're well. Big up to you, Mark Davies. Hope all is good with you, my bro. Yeah, bro. Garnacho should have done, it's guys, we have a young attack. You can't forget that. You have to give them some time. I know it hurts. I know we see the chances that could have been. But soon, these youngsters, they will be seeing the same thing. I'm telling you. I'm telling you guys. Give them some time. Give them Garnacho next season is going to be twice or three times as clinical as he was this season. Because he's going to remember all the misses, all the anguish, the hurt, and he's going to put that to good use. You know what I mean? I'm just going to bring this video really quick for you guys before I let Vegeta start reacting. But this is what the manager, Eric Ten Hag, had to say in the press conference. Let's hear what he has to say, guys, because it's pretty interesting, in my opinion.
Anything better, but also when I'm now 2 years here and I only had one time a full group of players, and you can't progress a team when we have, particularly in certain key areas, so many injuries. It's like swimming with the hands on your back, and then you have to keep your head up above the water level, and that is what we're trying to do. And still, we are in a cup final. This is good, but if you want to progress a team, you need fit players. And you see it on our opponent today. They had only one, not 100% match fit player, and we had so many.
Guys, Vegeta, what are your thoughts, my brother?
First of all, pick up Mark. My thoughts on yesterday's game. First of all, I said during my stream today, as well as during the watch along yesterday, is that if anybody wants to blame the manager for the loss yesterday, they're on crack. Personally, because you could see the tactics yesterday, you could see that he didn't just set up to draw, because like you said, a lot of people were saying we're gonna get smashed. I predicted a draw because I thought there'd be goals from both sides. But we unfortunately lost. But you could see that the manager was playing to win yesterday, and that's the one thing I appreciated from his tactics yesterday. Because if I'm gonna criticize him, I also have to give him praise when I'm seeing something good. You feel me? And I also feel like it's not a coincidence that the people who haven't been playing, who got the chances today, showed up the way they did, because they had one thing that the other players didn't have, and that was hunger, and desire to play for us. And that's what we've been saying. If you just put a little bit of effort, we could see it makes a difference. You know what I'm saying? Like when you actually come to play football, because all of a sudden people were making passes, so players were finding each other. We were creating chances. Hoyland, I'm sure, was surprised to find himself with chances yesterday because he's been starved the whole season. Um, the defense, besides the one goal that we conceded, was resolute, which is funny because I was even saying we didn't even have a defense yesterday. Technically, I mean, John Evans is not fit. Dalot is not a left back. Casemiro's not a centre back, but the defending yesterday was pretty good for me for the most part. I
Mhm.
wasn't upset with the team yesterday. I actually applauded them despite the fact that we lost because we saw effort, we saw cohesion, we saw people actually trying to execute the manager's plan yesterday. And I actually even asked people on my stream earlier on, like, we've drawn so many parallels between ourselves and Arsenal, even though we don't like it. And one of the things we keep asking is if we give Ten Hag some time, do we think we'd see greater progression? And what I think I took away, despite the criticism I've had of Ten Hag, is that if we've got players that actually want to play football and actually want to try and implement the manager style, we can get at teams. Because, like you're saying, I don't think Arsenal were at their best yesterday. And a lot of their fans, you could see in the stands, looked nervous because they actually were probably a lot more surprised at the fact that who are these guys? Because they just got beat by Crystal Palace earlier on, and kudos to Ten Hag. He actually learned something from the Palace game and changed. He's working with what he can do at the moment. And I know people get upset when he speaks about the injuries, but guys, like I said, we didn't have a recognized back four. We just literally had a Frankenstein back four. Our midfield was lacking creativity. We really missed Bruno yesterday and his leadership and the passion he brings, because we had a lot of fouls. that nobody else was stepping up to the ref asking questions. Whereas a person like Bruno would have seen Ahmad go down, would have seen a lot of the fouls we were conceding that the referee wasn't giving us, and he would have been in the ref's space to question him to say, "Ref, did you not see that?" And we kind of missed that yesterday. Outside of his creativity, you know what I'm saying? So I really hope our leader can come back, because I might not be happy with how his season has gone, but he's still my captain at the end of the day, and I know what he brings to this team. So like I agree with you, Mark. Maybe that team we saw yesterday, because those guys seem to want to play football, plus a captain like Bruno, could make a difference in the final. FA
100%.
Cup final. Yeah.
Like you see, I mean, lots of things, and I mean, as a fan, bro, we're gonna have different opinions. We're gonna see different things. A lot of us see football differently, but at the end of the day, we always have to remember the key for us all: mental ball game. DJ Superfly, Mark Davies, you and myself, Papi, everyone. We want United to be back to winning ways, to be the best that they can be, to return to dominance. So when I look at the way things going down currently with Manchester United, it's just interesting to see all the various opinions that everyone have, and how it is we're going to work on this, because, you know, for me, I have this patient approach to certain things, because I believe, Rome was not built in a day. Sometimes a process is longer than you expect it to be. You just have to keep going and do your best. You know what I mean? And what
Mm.
and hope that with every day you progress closer to achieving your goals. And Manchester United this season, the story of our season really and truly is like injuries upon injuries. Some poor performances, and like Richard Hutchinson saying, the theater of rain streams. You know what I mean? Big up to you, broski. And the reason why I would say that is because when you look at Bruno Fernandez and all the criticism he's received this season, I could recall two key games this season where clearly we missed his brilliance in midfield. You know what I mean? And that would be last night and the game against Liverpool at Anfield. And it's those kind of games where you say, what if we had him available? Because just that extra creative spark could have been two goals against Liverpool, could have been two or three goals last night against Arsenal. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
like Kenny is saying, you know,
Yeah.
Floodchester United. And there's not
Yeah.
just with the rainfall and the leaks I'd have going on, but is with some poor effort levels of some players in multiple games this season who shouldn't be giving us that low quality of effort. And the constant media agenda. So it's like everything is in an extreme from one
Yeah.
to the other.
Yeah. Can I just also add something, Mark? With the
Mm.
players thing, the, Bruno Fernandes doesn't just bring creativity; he brings a sort of an attitude. And you saw yesterday that these kids, for the most part, because we had young people on the pitch, they wanted to play. They were trying to get at Arsenal. I mean, you look at Ahmad and the way he was picking up the ball and actually driving at the defense. If you've got a leader like Bruno behind you, who's saying, "Good job, kid. Keep doing that. You press there." I think those things help. You see something like that with Licha as well, which is why we're missing him, because these are people who, besides Ten Hag, we've got people on the pitch who want to execute the manager's plan and lead on the pitch itself. And you miss those key components, and you saw that yesterday. That's what I'm saying. If you bring people like Lisandro Martinez and Bruno into a team like that actually wants to play ball, I think you see a huge difference, bro. Um, and I think the fans saw that yesterday. I think that's why we were also pleasantly surprised, and that's what we want to see more of moving forward. Because if that's what we can get when people want to listen to Ten Hag, and we bring in the right players with Ineos, I'm on board. Is what I'm saying, because we saw football being played.
100%. Let me just get into this article really quickly so we could get some of the news and maybe find out when he's available. So Eric Ten Hag was without both Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford for the defeat versus Arsenal, despite players returning to training at the end of last week. Fresh concern also emerged when Amad Diallo was forced off with a suspected knee issue, making him a doubt to face Newcastle. It wasn't all bad news though. Willie Kwambala made his comeback after a short layoff, and Scott McTominay came through the 90 minutes. United nonetheless remain without the likes of Lissandro Martinez and Anthony Martial and Harry Maguire. Bruno Fernandes, there were hopes that he would be ready to face Arsenal, having trained last week, but he ultimately sat out this second game in a row. and Bruno trained for 2 days, but it wasn't far enough for Long to recover from his injury and make the team. United are therefore hopefully will return against Newcastle, but that is still to be confirmed as Newcastle is on Wednesday, May 15th. And guys, Amad Diallo, a little bit of news about him. The Ivorian winger impressed on Sunday. I would have to say hats off to him. He did really well. He picked up an injury from the challenge from Thomas Partey during the first 45 minutes. So why didn't he get a penalty for that again? I don't know, but maybe we could ask PHMOL about that sometime really soon. You know, Marcus Rashford, Ten Hag confirmed ahead of the game that he was ruled out of the match on Saturday. The decision was made despite his return to training, with the club appearing not to have enough confidence in his recovery that he wouldn't aggravate his injury against the Gunners. Maybe they're taking a secondary precaution against the medical staff recommendations. United welcomed Martinez back into training as well, but he did not play as well, according to Ten Hag. The Argentine was desperate and asked the manager for an early recall to the lineup, but the doctor's orders prevented him from playing. Yesterday, Licha came to me and he wanted to play on Sunday against Arsenal. He said the United boss on Friday, but he's not ready yet. He needs a little bit more time to go through the process, but he is so desperate to play. And I could see that from Lissandro, guys. You know what I mean? Harry Maguire muscle injury sustained earlier this month. He's still hanging by a thread to see if he can make it back this season. Guys, to be honest, I don't think we're going to see Maguire back. I also think that Luke Shaw is out for the rest of the season as well. He's hoping to make an appearance at Wembley to ensure his campaign is not yet over, but he had a setback. And from what I have heard, this is pretty much systematic with the level of muscle atrophy that he has going on in his left leg. So it's one of those things where his muscles will be strong today and strong for a couple of days, couple of weeks, couple of months maybe, and 1 minute it could just strain, and with a strain it goes, and you're unable to exert force and strength in it like you would normally do. You know what I mean?
Mm,
It's something
yeah,
to be very concerned about. And
yeah.
Mason Mount was looking at a return, but from a very unlucky perspective. He has another injury which he picked up last week. And to be fair, guys, I am not a huge fan of Mason Mount. He has to do a huge, huge lot to impress me going forward, because he also wears the number 7 for my club. And if I look at this expression right now, all I could say to myself is proper Chelsea. I just being real honest. You know what I
Mm,
mean? And it just make me feel like in that moment he was just thinking, why did I leave Chelsea? That's how I feel watching that picture there. I'm being really honest. No disrespect to him or anyone who's a fan of Mason Mount. Rafael Varane, his muscle injury probably will keep him sidelined. He's returning to training on Thursday. Apparently, this is the reports that he should be on training this Thursday coming after the following game. And hopefully he might be back in time to get a few minutes against Brighton on the last day before the FA Cup. Anthony Martial, don't expect to see him play, but you never know what might happen in the FA Cup final. Victor Lindelof is also ruled out with muscle injury as well. He has not been able to train, but I think he should be also returning to training on Thursday. Marcia is not going to be returning to the pitch this season. He's probably going to be, going to a specialist to help with his recovery and rehabilitation. And we're going to have to give him a little bit more time, because yeah, the doctors, they messed up his surgery. And guys, you gotta feel for the kid. I'm not gonna say he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, but he's a pretty solid defender. He gives a good account for himself, and for him to unable to be able to perform the season or get a minute, it has to be disappointing greatly.
100%, 100%. And I want to just say, I think I saw somebody ask a question: what does United have to do in the summer? Funny enough, the biggest thing that has to happen is not even on the pitch. The medical department has been such a shambles. And I had to remind people, do you realize that Casemiro had to come back, go all the way to Barcelona because he didn't trust whatever those guys said to get the right advice? And if we're talking about setbacks and continuous muscle strains, people have been quick to run towards Ten Hag's training. I don't think it's the training people. You have to look at how these guys are being treated when they are being treated for the injuries and the recovery thereafter. The biggest thing United has to do is go out, find the best people in the medical field for these guys, find the best people for recovery, and employ them. Because the number of games are going to increase. We see that. We see the Club World Cup thing. We see the increased games in Europe. So, with that happening, we need the right people for these guys. Because the amount of injuries we had this season is not coincidental. There is a common root cause. And I think it lies at the feet of those doctors. So, that's going to be the biggest key. And then the next thing they need to be doing is focusing on the back line, because you don't build from the front, you build from the back. If you can keep goals out, you're at least giving yourself half a chance, and then you go look at scoring. So you need to rebuild your back line. And then for heaven's sake, get Hoyland a partner. The kid can't do it alone. Okay? Those are the
100%.
key things that you need to do this summer.
100%. I would add to that and say, yeah, sometimes, like I'm a fan, but guys, as a fan, I am willing to hold an L to what I think is the best choice or best option as well. And saying that, I'm just gonna advocate right now for all fans to hold a L this season and take a step back so we could take steps forward. Bring Mason back, save 60 million or 70 million to be spent on Olise, and take that 60 to 70 million and spend that on defenders and midfielders. Because you know
Yes.
what? I think it's more important that we get 2 to 3 centre backs, a backup right back, because Wan Bissaka has to go. So if we have Dallo and we get Frimpong, maybe have a youngster waiting in the wings just in case of any injuries. You know what I mean? And we definitely need to get a DM, maybe two. I would say let's get two DMs and a
100%.
CM, and a guy who's like a multi-purpose tool who could fit any position in the midfield anyhow you want him to play, and he's ready. This is what I think we need to do this summer. And Benjamin Sesko, as you guys can see, his agent was at Carrington. I think, from what I have heard, this deal has been lined up like a train ticket. And as soon as the transfer window opens, it's going to be the first buy that United makes. Because if you look at his profile and what he can do, I think he has what Hoyland misses: a killer instinct with the experience and composure from playing a wealth of football, right? And I think it's contagious in that way. A young striker, they are within a year of each other. He's a year and a half older than Hoyland. They're both Scandi. And in all fairness, guys, they could feel that camaraderie and that competition as a friendly rivalry, because they are both youngsters. And we have room to deal with both of them. I mean, especially if we were to win the FA Cup final, we have Europa, one could be starting, and we have the Prem, the other could be starting. Then there's the two cups, the Carabao, which we are probably going to play youngsters in. One of them will start there as well. So, and then the FA Cup, which starts in the following January next season. So there's one of these things. And Richard, yeah, you might be saying United lost their fair factor, but bro, we've been run terribly for the last decade. Sure, we had some decent squads over that period of time and some decent performances, but it's a road back to getting where we need to be. And while we might not have that fear factor now, I bet you money, if we get seven players coming to this club, two centre backs, a full back, two DMs and a CM and a striker, bro, next season Old Trafford will be the theatre of nightmares for all the rivals coming over. You know what I
And
mean?
sell a big player like Rashford to show you mean business. That's what I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I think Marcus Rashford should be sold somewhere, somehow, some way, and not because he's not good enough, but because you need to break this team up and change it. So a breath of fresh air could come into the club, just like the manager, just like the new, minority ownership that we have that take over football. You need that newness. So there's no so you could so the less of the past you see that is unnecessary, because Old Trafford is a necessary part of the past. But the players could change. We should not be afraid of change. It will get better. You guys could look at a lot of fans talk about they saw what Arteta was doing. Bollocks, bro. Bollocks. They didn't see what Arteta was doing because Arsenal fans was Arteta out for 3.5 seasons, my guys. 3.5. And how long has Mikel Arteta been at Arsenal coach? 4.5 seasons. Make it make sense. I remember last season, the beginning of last season, for the entire month of September, October, and November, there was Arteta out, guys. So, it's one of those things where, you have to be cautious in the way you listen to rival fans and how they try to deliver their opinion towards you because some of them are very disingenuous. Like, what's funny, guys? I hear lots of fans talking about this issue that happening with Mason Greenwood. But yesterday I was watching Lee Gunner, one of the bigger Arsenal streamers, saying that he would have him at Arsenal in a heartbeat. He's innocent. He has not been convicted or charged and the court didn't find him guilty, so he's innocent in his opinion, and he would have him there and bench Saka, right? And a lot of you might laugh at that statement, but if this guy could say that, and I've heard other YouTubers at Chelsea say that they would like to have Greenwood come to Chelsea. Imagine what Greenwood would do at Chelsea. Guys, I know a lot of fans see Olise score a brace against us and see him perform this season, but I implore you guys, please, consider where our finances are. I know we are a big club, but we have done bad business. We have a stadium to rebuild that's going to take away from our finances, guys. So we need to save what we can and do what we can. And it was for me, it's so weird. As a United fan, we always had a certain extra love for those that we grew at home. Those of us that were one of us that came from the academy. And in the last decade, there's no brighter spark out of the academy than this youngster. And pretty sure, what in the 13 seconds may have been really drastic. And, no one here sitting here live, not even myself, is going to, just not have something to say about that, because at the end of the day, we don't condone those things. Everyone has siblings, including myself. I have sisters, I have a mother, and I can't even begin to think about someone doing that to them, But at the same time, what I can say, guys, is that a lot of these fans out here, a lot of these YouTubers, they are skewing certain facts because you know what? They have their emotion. And I will bring Goldbridge to the fore because I had to use him as an example because he is pretty accustomed to getting clipped up in 13-second clips on YouTube. But guess what? He always has a way to explain that, that's not the context in which he was saying what he was saying in that 13 seconds. But and while I say that, vice versa, because if you look at what happened, most of us have heard that 13-second clip and we are all saying guilty. So who is guilty? Isn't Goldbridge then guilty for all the 13-second clippings that he's been receiving over the last 5 years? I would say he is. Because if he could say that about this guy for one 13-second clip, what about you that has over 100, bro? You know what I'm saying? So I just like to keep the energy balance. You might be upset with me, you might not like what I'm saying right now, but the facts remain. We can't just pick and choose. You know what I mean? Can't just pick and choose, guys. So it's one thing to say if this was your sister, but I will ask you all this question: what if he was your brother? What would you do? Let's just say you had privy to information that he was actually innocent and that really was not the case. You know, how would you feel that he was being abused mentally on every single type of social media and different talk shows and by different people protesting him, and he was an innocent man? I'm just hypothetically asking that question. How would you feel if that was your brother, your son? You know what I mean? Guys, we have to look at this thing a little bit more, open-minded. It's a complex situation. And as we can see, him and the young lady in question, they're about to get married. They have a daughter together. They seem very happy. They are always everywhere and about in Spain right now. And he's having a good season. I would say one a better season than Ivan Toney is having currently, and Ivan Toney's been out for 6 months and he's been out for 18. So, guys, you need to consider these things. I just wanted to bring this information. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. I apologize to you. I didn't mean to offend you, but, I just felt like, as a fan of football and sports, since I was a child and a guy who played sports, the one thing about sports is it's open to everyone, even those people who are juvenile or delinquent that made mistakes in their made mistakes. It's a forum or a place where you could still find the best of yourself and be the best you can be. So, let's not close the door, because then there would be no way to rehabilitate anyone, because sports is the number one rehabilitator of juvenile delinquents. You can Google that if you don't believe me. You know what I mean? Getting into physical activities increase endorphins, and endorphins make people happy. Guys. So, what I mean? Just think about it. There's a lot to do in this summer. Manchester United needs to focus on getting players out rather than and getting the right players in. But we need to really be creative with the funds that we have available. I'm going to say to you guys now, we are probably going to have a war chest of about 180 to 220 million at max. And when I say at max, you might need to sell 3 to 4 to 5, maybe 6 players, if you want to add to that. And in this current market, you're not going to get 5 players at 20 million. It's probably going to be 5 players at 40. So, 4 players, and that money is done.
Yeah.
So, Mason Greenwood might be pure profit, but in 2 years, he could be worth 150 million. So would you rather sell him for 30 million now, or 150 million to Real Madrid in 18 months? I know which one I would choose. I would sell him for 150 million in 18 months, because I can guarantee to everyone here watching, with the performance this lad give this season at Getafe, I could only see him doubling those figures next season, because his body is now finding that tuning, the form, the acceleration, the control that he had 18 months ago. He could only get better from now. So, guys, just to have a think, consider it. There's lots of players that we need to come in. Sesko is another one that I think is a good choice. I think for a footballer for his age, he has a lot of experience. He's a starting striker for his country. I believe he plays in Slovenia, or is Serbia. I think it's Slovenia. And he's a starting striker, guys. He plays with a lot of more experienced players, so he's learning the game at a high IQ level in this moment. So he's one of the top scorers in the Bundesliga this season, playing for Leipzig. In something like 12 games or 15 games. If you divide the amount of minutes he have, in actuality, he would probably have played 6, and he has something like 12 goals and 8 assists, guys. So this is a guy who can find the back of the net. He's gone through the same process as Haaland, in such a way he was at Salzburg before moving to Leipzig. Now we need to get him before he goes to Dortmund.
Mm. And I also want to just add on and say, guys, in the summer, I think people also need to be realistic with their expectations, because I can already see the Ineos hate, for lack of a better word. Because what I actually want to see being different is how we do that business, first of all. You can't be bending down to everybody's demands. And I want Ineos to bring that. We need to be fast, because we need people on the plane to the preseason, because we need the manager to start working with them as soon as possible. And the other thing that I want to see is we're going to be surprised by some of the names that come to United. And I think we should be okay with that, because for so long, shirt sales has governed how we buy people. And what we need to be doing is having a proper footballing strategy, actually listening to our scouts. So some of the names we might be linked to, for instance, like maybe a Benjamin Sheshko that people don't want, might pop up at United, and we need to be okay with that, because we might not understand where it goes. I mean, look at Arsenal. They did that. They ignored the fans, did what they needed to do, and today now they're all chanting Arteta's name. So I think that's the one thing. We need to have a realistic expectation to say that we need to try and trust these people who have taken over the footballing department. and hope that they do a better job than the previous salesmen that we had running the club, and be open minded with the kind of people we're linked to us at United, because we need to sign for purpose right now. Like I said, I think on another stream, we need to build a cake. We need to stop looking at cherries. We don't actually have a cake to work with. So we need to get the right ingredients. And then once we've got a proper cake that we've put together, then we can start looking at the cherries on the top of that cake. So that's the thing we need to keep in mind when we're going into this summer transfer season. You know what I mean? And with the whole Greenwood situation, I've always said I would have him back because he's such a talented player. And we don't have goals as it is. I mean, look at our goal difference. You just it'll tell you everything you need to know. And if there's anybody who's cold in front of goal, it's Mason Gunwood. There's a reason why we called him Mason Gunwood, bro. His finishing is almost second to none right now amongst his peers as a young player. So I would definitely take Greenwood back. I would definitely take another center forward. And like you said, I've always stressed this. You kind of need two DMs, because to say one DM, we know that if you only get one, then that means we're one injury away from default settings. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of need like
100%.
a starting DM and almost a good enough backup, because I don't think you can get two starting DMs this window. But eventually, we need to get to a point where we've got two of every position, so that we don't face what we faced this season. That's all I'm saying. But with the summer guys, please be realistic. Please give Ineos a chance, because these guys are still getting their feet underneath the table.
100%. Not only that, guys, my honest opinion when I look at what could be possible, what we have going on, it for me really, I have to say that I think Ineos have surprised me in the way they have gone about the acquisitions in terms of the people that they want to have on the board. And as Mark Davies is coming in, I think the decision on Ten Hag was made since Ineos signed in December. I honestly could think that. I feel like a lot of people, we look at things and react to it reactively, but there's a certain way it could be proactive, right? Now, while the season has not been great, we have to take into consideration we started a rebuild 18 months ago. Now, this rebuild has not gone systematically in a progressive manner in terms of being driven by the executives. Now, when I say that, there need to be a consistent amount of players exiting every window, and we have
Mm.
to be buying smartly and creative signings, right? And we have seen none of these things. Also there needed to be a shift in the focus on how we dealt with the player wages and all these things, and we saw none of those things. So you have to understand, when you look at the prospectively speaking, the manager's assessment of the squad after last season, he said he needed two centre backs and a midfielder. He got Johnny Evans and he got Mason Mount. So we all could be mad at him. He said he wanted two strikers. He get Hoyland, who's a youngster, will develop. You know what I mean? So if you look at the problems we have in this season, you could see why the manager wanted two centre backs in the summer. You could clearly see it clear as day. You know, why would he want two centre backs? Because he knew what could have been and he didn't expect that to be the happen, but he knew that it was a possibility he would have need backup and he didn't have it. So I think Enios probably say, you know what, this guy has an extra year and a possible extension. We could provide a better systematic approach to signing and recruitment than the current staff was providing for him. We've seen what he did in his first season with a team that did the same thing that they did this season under a manager that it was under for 3 seasons. So let's break this squad up. The fans will have to be patient. We will take the hit for a year and break this squad up and show the fans that after we break this squad up in a season or two, it will start functioning right. Because we are Manchester United at the end of the day, guys. And when I say that is because I'm saying that I saw Sachiv, my bro, big up to you, Kenny Fan TV. I saw you said to the guy, it might be 3 or 4 years before we challenge City. Bro, with the right signings this summer, if Benjamin, and I will say this much now, if Benjamin Sesko comes in, if we get a Joao Gomez, if we get a Goncalo Ignacio, and then we get another defender, another DM, maybe a left back. Bro, I'm telling you all now, we finishing top four. I'm going crazy right now. I'm going reckless, reckless, reckless because I missed reckless thoughts this morning. So I'm saying to you guys now, the way football is so funny. There is no actual determination that says it's going to take 3 years or it's going to take 2 years or it's going to take one. It could happen instantly and it could take a lifetime. You know what I mean? These things have so many factors that complex factors and relationships that go into it that make it a situation for what I can say, a team being galvanized or a squad being galvanized and exponential growth. It's possible with the synergetic input of different players coming in with that hunger and that drive and ability at the same time. Could you imagine a Mason Greenwood coming off the bench in the game yesterday against Arsenal? I would have seen I could foresee United would have win that game 2 or 3-1 with his performance, with how he does go up, is take care of the ball around the box. You know, now, there's possible that we could have signings that may not hit the ground running. I saw a mental ball game talking about Anthony. If we sign a couple players like Anthony, then it might be the theater of screams next season. But I say to you, mental ball game, that you know don't count Anthony out just yet, because what Amad Diallo has been doing over the last few games is identical to what Anthony does. In fact, Anthony does it better. The only difference is because, maybe lots of you have a mental block against Anthony and you all don't rate him, you all think that Ahmad is doing something much different. While I would admit that he was taking on his defenders more when he initially got his minutes this season, that's not the case right now. And in the game yesterday, I thought he was not as good as he should have been. I thought he was going to be better because there were some moments where he took on his defender, he got past him, and he looked lost. He didn't know what to do. And that happened like 3 or 4 times. And there were like 3 or 4 times in the game where Garnacho sent across to him, Dallo sent across to him, and he was nowhere there. He didn't even make the run. Everyone could tell that he was supposed to make that run except him. So, in my honest opinion, I think he's going to develop well. I have high hopes for him. I've seen some of his performances, but let's not count out the players because they're all Manchester United players, and whether anyone likes it or not, I think Anthony is going to be here for another season, and that's based on the fact that they are going to give him a break due to mental health issues with the situation and his accusation saga that was also this season at the beginning of the season. You know, FFP is going to be very serious in this summer, bro, because there's no way you could pay off FFP, especially with the situation we are in when we know you're trying to build a new stadium. So, nah, 300, 400 mil? Nope, bro. I think we're going to spend like 200, and anything else, it'll depend on sales. So if you could get Rashford sold for 60 million, maybe get, Casemiro and Varane to Saudi for 60 million, that's 120. That's the only way we might hit 300 million in our war chest this summer, guys, to be honest. Yeah, I'm going to be doing watch alongs for the Euros as well as Copa America. Guys,
Same
I
here.
will cover the England games, but I'm also covering Germany games because I live in Germany, and I'm also going to be covering the Italy games. So if you and I will probably be looking if I'm not sure if if Slovenia is in the Euros. I don't think they are, but if they are and Benjamin Sesko is playing, I'll be covering that as well. So big up to you guys. If you want to check that out, come watch it with me. I'm going to be watching the Copa Americas as well. Brazil. I'm going to be doing watch alongs with Brazil, Uruguay. I'm going to be taking a look at young Oscar Zambrano, who was linked to Manchester United in the winter. He's going to be starting for Ecuador, and I would like to see what he has to offer because I think we're going to sign him. He's going to cost us something in the region of 10 to 12 million pounds. I think he's going to be a done deal. There's also a youngster who plays at Colombia that we have lots of interest in, and I think Anselmino will be on the bench as a reserve for Argentina in the Copa America. big up to you guys coming in. I see this the MVP of the United Space coming in. Stephanie Griffith, how are you? I hope you're having a great day. Big up to you, Richard Hutchinson. You know, you're watching England, Germany, Italy, France, Holland, and Belgium. Well, you know, I'm not too much of a French football fan. To be fair, I kind of, you know, for some strange reason, I despise the French football teams. I like some of the players, but I just can't watch them play. You know, I'm always wanting them to lose for some reason. And I'm sorry, guys, if anyone loves the French team. But,
That's how I feel about England.
bro, you know, I will say to you guys this. If you watch the 2006 World Cup, you would know my thoughts on England, you know, and you would know why I think Jaden Sancho should not be playing for England because Trinidad and Tobago were winning 1-0, and his uncle played defender for Trinidad and Tobago, and Peter Crouch yanked his dreadlocks and head the
Interesting.
ball into the back of the net. And the guy is 5'9" or 10. Peter Crouch is 6'6" or 8, something like that, right? Why is he yanking the dreadlocks of this dude here? The referee is watching it there. There's a photographer picture with it because it was in the newspapers the next morning, right? And I'm looking at that, I'm like, yo, that's wild. Why did he have to cheat? He's so tall already. You know what I mean? Bro, he should have, bro. You know what I mean? But at the same time, guys, you know, I love watching football at the end of the day. So I do watch the England team. You know, I think they're very talented players that are coming through the England in the last 5 to 6 years and going forward. There's a youngster that plays for Dortmund, Jeremy Bino Gittens. He's amazing. He plays on the left wing. He's 6'2", speedy. He can dribble. He's physical. You know, he kinds of remind me of a Rafael Leao, but I think he has a higher work rate than Rafael Leao. So I don't know, guys. You know, stay tuned for that. Big up to you. And yo, my buddy Vegeta is here. And I want to just bring this last article to you guys because you know I wanted to talk about it. I know we were mentioning I mentioned it earlier. And the Man United legends are backing Eric Ten Hag, you know, as Bruno Fernandez's importance has been highlighted in the recent defeats. And guys, you know, there's a lot to take in just by that headline. You know what I mean? Like I was saying to you before, Roy Keane, Gary Neville, all of them are offering support to Eric Ten Hag, and Wayne Rooney as well has even gone as far as to blame the players and say they are not giving their best for United and they need to do better. And right before we go, guys, I just wanted to highlight the women's team winning the FA Cup, winning the FA Cup yesterday, guys. You know, it's pretty interesting. So, wow,
The history of the Tottenham Hotspurs, even in the women's tees.
bruh.
Ooh.
The women's team did really well. They were able to get the victory yesterday. So guys, you know, be sure to celebrate with them, celebrate yourself because Manchester United are doing some things this season. Good performance by the ladies, dominant performance. And you know what? I did say to someone that Ella Toon is in fine form and her first goal in at the end of the first half, it was something to behold, guys. I think it was a very, very nice work goal. Great performance by Lucia Garcia getting a brace for herself. I think it was really good. You know, all the meanwhile, Man United men's team were dominating Arsenal in ways, so to speak, based on possession, but they were unable to score, which would have been a big Sunday if we had won the FA Cup and won against Arsenal. You know what, guys? You know, it happens like that sometimes. You know what I mean? It just happened like that. Paul Merson. I'm gonna just end with this article because you know I want to hear what Vegeta has to say about this. You know,
Okay.
tell me what you're thinking about this, bro. Paul Merson has said, and he's hold on 1 second. I gotta fix something. Boom, boom. Paul Merson claims that Eric Ten Hag, if he wins the FA Cup against Man City, he should be knighted. What are your thoughts?
Yo, first of all, these pundits like to be dramatic, eh? Should be knighted. As if we didn't make our way there by playing good and deserving to be in the final. No, look, man. If Ten Hag wins this, then when you take both seasons into considerations, firing him makes no sense because that's two cups in his first two seasons, despite the crap that we've had, and that's a lot better than Oli did, and he was getting a second and all of that crap. So you know what? I don't know about the whole 19 thing, but I think it just builds a better case. If it already hasn't been built, because personally I think Ineos has already made the decision with Ten Hag, I think he'll probably be here. But if he wins, then it's United, bro. We want to win trophies, no matter what. That's why I'm not gonna be defeatist and say City are gonna win. That's crap, bro. That's crazy. If he wins, bro, he deserves his praise. You know, the praise needs to be as loud as the criticism has been, especially given that City are a better team. We are bare bones. I guess in that regard, it's miraculous. You know what I'm saying? The fact
To be
that
fair,
the team is so badly stripped of, its players because of injuries. If he pulls off the win, then yeah, it's a miracle and he deserves a lot of praise. I don't know about the whole United thing, but I guess I get where the guy is coming from. But yeah, no, definitely, I expect the fan base to at least make their praise just as loud as the criticism, because hey, we've been very loud with the criticism, eh? So if he wins that, I want to hear people praising the manager and not saying, but he could have done this. Because I know United fans. United fans have a tendency where he might win, but they'll say, oh, this is Manchester United. We expected to win. Whatever. Oh, shut up. Shut up.
hundred
Just praise the
percent, bro.
manager.
100%. Yo, mental. I just want to let you know something. There is a player like Luis Garcia. You know, the only difference is he's English, but he's playing in Spain. We need to bring him back and give him the number 7, right? I just want you to know, you guys are going to thank me next season if this guy is back. You all will thank me for,
I will
for,
just be
for,
there
for
to be
always
happy.
defending it for him and
I'm
pushing the
back.
agenda to get him back home. Because
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys, he comes home with the point he has to prove. Anything less than 30 goals in this in next season, bruh, I will end my stream, bro. I will close my YouTube down if he doesn't get 30 GA next season coming back to United, bro. I will close my channel down, bro. Telling you.
Talk
That's
about
how much
clean.
how much faith I have in that young man after what I see this season. Performances this season for me is his performances week in, week out with a team like United with players who know him, like like Bruno, you know, and with Hoyland ability, bro, I could see Mason Greenwood doing a madness in United, bro.
And if you want to talk about mentality, bro, I think for what that kid's going through, he's shown bigger mentality and balls than most of the people who are currently playing for this club. And they know who they are, those players that aren't mentally as strong as this kid has shown to be. And he's young. So a lot of these older, mentally fragile United players should be ashamed.
Yali, just to remind you, right? Because I don't know if you know, but Eric Ten Hag doesn't have the staff was all Ollie's staff. The only 3 members of staff in the coaching team that did not belong to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer were Steve McLaren, who Eric Ten Hag asked for, right? And Benny McCarthy and Michel van der Gag. Van der Gag is going to be Ajax coach next season, right? Benny McCarthy, they are letting go. But he also wanted McLaren. McLaren is his guy. Nobody was offering McLaren any coaching job at United, bro. It's Ten Hag brought McLaren in. You know why? Because he knows the league. That's the only reason McLaren has a job at United, bro. So if you think that because Michel van der Gaag is not having his contract renewed, that means Eric Ten Hag might be leaving. I'm just saying, yeah, there are a lot more things that point to the fact that he's staying. Especially the fact that Jason Wilcox and him have planned for the summer already. And any intelligent club plans for the summer 6 weeks ahead, 9 weeks ahead, and stick to the plan. They don't change the plan. Like, when the minority of fans were allowed to wreck our entire transfer window this summer by forcing a change to the plan, I think fans should have think about the repercussions of those actions, but they didn't. You know what I mean? But big up, guys. Big up to you, Yali, Statman Master. You know, hopefully he'll come in with some more stats at the end of the season to let us know which players who underperformed the most and has been at Manchester United the longest, because those are the numbers I want to see, because I those are the people that we want to get out of the club. You know what I mean? All the guys who've been
Mhm.
here for 8, 9, 10 years and not putting up that numbers of on elite level consistency, it's time
They
to
can
get them
go.
stepping. Time to get them stepping, guys. And yeah, like Superfly, I kind of like Mersey, man. You know, he had his demons, but he's a top guy. He was an ex-gunner. I remember him playing some good games against Manchester United in the days when I was a youth man watching football. You know, some of these guys, bro, you have to understand. Some of these guys, that every one of these guys are just human, like you and I. The only difference is that they were able to get themselves to the level of playing football in the Premier League or on the elite level, and they're still human. They still have flaws. They still have mistakes. Some of them still struggle with confidence issues, weak mentalities. You know what I mean? Addiction. It happens. They're all human. So, you know what I mean? I know we look at these guys like immortal legends of the game, you know, and there are some of them who are, you know, that ideal, perfect sportsman. But there are others who are just human and talented. You know what I mean? So, you know, give them a little bit of a break, cut them some slack, guys. You know what I mean? Because they're not a video game. You know what I mean? They can't run week in, week out the same way without getting injuries. These things happen. You know what I'm saying? So, big up to everybody watching. You know, I don't really have that much else to say. I was so happy that you guys were able to join me. I was home late today, so I wasn't able to start at the normal time, which is, you know, usually 9:30 or 45, you know. But now that I was did it at this time, I was able to get Vegeta in the building and all of you joining. Thanks so much for being here. Big up to all of you. You know, I can't do a show without you guys. You guys are the heartbeat of this stream. You know what I mean? The only fun part of the morning is this stream with you guys for me. And on other days, reckless thoughts on business. Vegeta, thanks so much for joining me, broski. You know, good luck with
Always
the
happy
new
to be here.
channel. Don't forget to drop the link, bro. You could drop the link on my community page, bro, and I will highlight it so that everyone could see it. Guys, smash a like for Vegeta. Don't forget, you know, give him a little subscribe when you guys have a time. You know, the name of the channel is Halftime with Vegeta Sama. You know, check him out on YouTube. You know, he has his own way he does things, and it's pretty interesting. You know, the angles that he went at for his stream. And this morning he was speaking about, you know, rules. What are they? And a little bit more about the game and what happened and his view on the league. So you know what, guys, smash a like for him. Don't forget, you know, mental. Normally, this guy is pop into the streams today. I guess he was not able to do much more than chat in the comments. It's always nice to hear him on the stream. Big up to you, my brother. I hope you are good. I hope you have a great day. Thank you for joining me, Yali. You know it is, my bro, the stat man. What's going on with you? Fire the staff, bro. Fire them all, bro. Fire the entire medical department. I don't care if they started to work last season. Fire them all. The only person is safe 100,000% is Kathy, right? Don't
Oh
even look
yeah,
in her direction.
we
But
need her, bro.
we
She's
need
like,
Kathy. She is the good luck charm. She is
yeah,
the
bro.
warmth and the love that comes out of Carrington. When you see all those smiles coming out of Carrington,
It's
tell
her,
yourself
bro.
it's coming from Kathy's jokes. So big up to all of you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Don't forget to smash a like if you're now on your way in or you're on your way out. And I hope you guys enjoy the evening. We'll be bringing you on Wednesday, guys. Wednesday morning, I'm doing a little bit of a special stream. Normally, you know, I just talk and blab in the mornings, but on Wednesday morning, guys, I'm bringing that stream that I promised you a few weeks ago, the Scout Report. And it's going to be very interesting because I've been hearing of quite a few things. There's some youngsters on the list, and there's some experience on the list. So stay tuned for more. Catch you guys later. Hope you guys have a great day. And you know what it is? Manchester United every single day of the week.
Lose,
Let's
win, or
go,
draw, baby. Peace.
guys.